What did you find in your research? Why is it so hard for people to get their lessons and integrate them?
So many layers, right? There's a very cultural layer, which is most of us live in a very secular culture that's devoid of depth and spirituality and soul and doesn't prioritize taking time to process, analyze, embody, integrate any experience, let alone peak psychedelic experience or peak experiences, period. So, first of all, we're dealing with the cultural complex, right? When you have these experiences, the first thing is how do I bring all this newness into a culture that doesn't really support it? Right. We always talk about it in the ayahuasca community, how that's one of the big differences between living in the jungle or living in indigenous tribes where everybody has done it and it's so weaved into the fabric of the village versus living in the modern West where it's slowly getting more and more integrated, but still as a culture, we don't have that relationship with the sacred and the numinous. So that's one. Two, it's that breeds our personal struggle with capitalism. We want things fast, we want things immediate, and we don't want to, and if possible, is with as little work as possible. And when I interviewed people, all the people that I've interviewed, 92% of them said that when they had their experience and they came back, two things were very clear to them. One is that in order to really stay in relationship with their experience, they have to prioritize it. So they had to start pushing other things away and saying, no, this is my priority right now. I'm going to focus on my experience, what happened to me, the how the experience is expanding, the feelings, the sensations, the images that came with it, and really build a relationship. And I think that's the key word for me is relationship. So yeah, prioritizing that and with the sacrifices that come with it. Family members not taking it well, friends not taking it well, wanting all of a sudden really shifting how you're interacting with people, what your hobbies are, where you want to spend your time, and how you're managing yourself. Most of us have all kinds of, let's call them leisure practices. And I think integration sometimes calls for it to change. So no more binging of Netflix. It's actually, I'm going to go into the forest and sit with my experience. Or instead of distracting myself with friends in a bar, I'm going to go and sit and meditate and journal or whatever it is that I need to do as part of building that relationship. And then there's obviously all the integration practices and how people engage with it, really seeing the necessity of having a psychosymbolic framework to work with these things and the ability to work with intense emotions. I think those were two very big things. Integration brings a lot of opening, and opening brings by necessity a lot of emotions and a lot of sensations. And it's one thing to be in the 2 week 2 to 4 week sparkle period after experiences where everything is better and lighter and clearer and there's deep insight versus when the deeper emotions kick in, which is the sadness and the grief and the pain and the memories or the transcendence and being asked to make big changes in my life or to start doing things that I've never done before. It all brings all kinds of confrontations with the old version of us. So a lot of it is also a dialogue between who I was before the experience and who I am now. How do you take new information and put it in an old model? So I think that's the main, I call it the initial gates of integration. There's the immediate, like the first 3, 4 days, and then there is the first 4 weeks. And if you can put really supportive structures, either with support or yourself, through other people, with yourself, then you can really get access to the integration. But most people, I think the integration falls apart within the 4 weeks. It just becomes another experience.
Yeah, integration is this thing that everyone talks about, and there's so many different ways of explaining it, and but it's just
Mhm.
so hard. And I think the problem is that integration is just not sexy. It's not this
No.
ayahuasca experience is this wow. It's this even though it's hard, but people it's like it's interesting, it's adventurous, and integration is it's some really bland food that's healthy for you, but nobody wants to eat it.